Before you fall in love with an ATV, before you listen to horsepower numbers, marketing videos, or a salesman telling you they don't make them like this anymore, you need to hear this story. Because some ATV engines were never bad on day one. They became bad slowly, quietly, and by the time most owners realized it, the damage was already done. Today we're talking about the worst ATV engines ever made, engines that turned good machines into scrap piles. This video is not about brand loyalty. It's not about hating performance, and it's definitely not about scaring people away from riding. This is about patterns, history, and hard lessons learned by owners, many of them seniors, who thought they were buying reliability and instead bought stress. If you're a beginner or someone shopping carefully later in life, listen closely. And as we go, I want you thinking, would I want to own this engine after 5 years? Share your thoughts in the comments. These discussions help people avoid expensive mistakes. Let's start with an uncomfortable truth. Most bad ATV engines are not catastrophic failures right away. They run, they ride, they feel strong, but they carry design decisions that punish owners over time, especially those who ride calmly, maintain properly, and expect longevity. That's why seniors often feel betrayed by them. Let's begin with one of the most controversial engine families ever put into utility ATVs. The large displacement V-twins used in machines like the Can-Am Outlander 1000R and Can-Am Renegade 1000R. On paper, these engines are monsters, incredible power, instant torque, impressive numbers. But here's the problem: heat, complexity, and tolerance stacking. These engines run hot. They are tightly packaged, and they rely heavily on electronics, sensors, and cooling efficiency. When everything is perfect, they feel amazing. When one small thing goes wrong, problems cascade. Many owners report recurring issues with heat soak, electrical gremlins, and premature wear. Not everyone experiences it, but enough people do that the pattern can't be ignored. For a senior rider who wants predictability, this engine can feel like a ticking clock. Not because it will definitely fail, but because when it does, repairs are expensive, complex, and stressful. Ask yourself this honestly: do you want an engine that demands constant vigilance, or one that quietly does its job? That's a good question to continue discussing in the comments. Now let's talk about another engine family that looks solid until time gets involved. High-output single-cylinder engines in mid-size performance ATVs, like those found in machines similar to the Polaris Scrambler 850 or Polaris Sportsman 850. These engines are powerful for their size. That's exactly the issue. High compression, aggressive tuning, and heat concentration put long-term strain on internal components. Bearings, seals, and cooling systems work harder than they should for everyday riding. For younger riders pushing hard, these engines often feel fine during warranty years. But seniors riding gently over long periods sometimes experience failures that feel unfair because they weren't abusing the machine. This creates frustration. You did everything right, regular maintenance, conservative riding, and still, the engine demands attention earlier than expected. That doesn't make it a terrible engine for everyone, but it makes it a poor choice for people prioritizing longevity over performance. Now let's shift to something that surprises many beginners: small engines pushed too hard. Machines like early budget-oriented models in the 400 to 500 cc range, including some configurations comparable to CF Moto's C-Force 500 and C-Force 600, can suffer when design margins are thin. This is not about brand hate. This is about early generation engineering. Some of these engines were built to meet a price point first, durability second. Cooling systems were minimal. Materials were adequate, not generous. When ridden lightly, they survive. When ridden consistently, problems emerge. Common issues reported over time include valve train wear, oil consumption, and inconsistent fueling. For seniors who ride slowly but often, that constant operation can be more damaging than aggressive weekend riding. This leads to an important realization: bad engines are not always abused engines. Sometimes they're just underbuilt. Now let's talk about sport ATVs, because this is where mistakes get expensive fast. High-revving race-inspired engines like those in the Yamaha YFC 450R and Honda TRX 450R are engineering marvels, but they are absolutely unforgiving. These engines are designed to live at high RPM, tight tolerances, frequent maintenance, shorter service intervals. For racers, that's normal. For seniors and beginners, it's a trap. Owners often assume that because the brand is reliable, the engine will be forgiving. It won't. Miss oil changes, let valves drift, ignore small noises, and the engine responds harshly. These engines don't age gracefully, they age suddenly. For a retired rider who just wants weekend enjoyment, this is one of the fastest paths to disappointment. If you've ever owned something too race-bred for your actual use, share that experience in the comments. It helps newer riders avoid repeating it. Now let's talk about something more subtle, engines that are fine but attached to problematic systems. Some mid-size utility engines found in models like the Arctic Cat Altera 450 and Altera 600 have earned mixed reputations not because of core engine failure, but because of supporting components, cooling inefficiencies, CVT tuning mismatches, electrical systems that age poorly. The engine itself may survive, but ownership becomes annoying. Overheating warnings, limp modes, inconsistent performance. For seniors, annoyance is often worse than outright failure. You don't want a machine that constantly asks for attention. This is where many people realize something important. Reliability is not just the engine block, it's the ecosystem around it. Now let's compare that to engines that earned respect the hard way. Single-cylinder, conservative engines found in machines like the Suzuki King Quad 400 or Suzuki King Quad 500 are rarely exciting, and that's why they last. They're understressed, mildly tuned, overbuilt for their output, which raises an uncomfortable question. Why do some manufacturers chase power numbers at the cost of peace of mind? That's worth debating below. Now let's talk about weight. Large machines like the Polaris Sportsman XP1000 and Can-Am Outlander 850 place enormous load on their engines simply by existing. Weight stresses cooling, transmission, and crank components. Even a well-designed engine suffers when constantly moving mass. For seniors who don't need that size, choosing it can accelerate wear without adding enjoyment. Bigger is not always better, especially when the engine pays the price. Now let's talk about engines that look reliable, but are unforgiving to neglect. Machines like the Yamaha Raptor 700 use engines that are fundamentally strong, but sensitive to maintenance. Oil level matters, cooling airflow matters, valve clearance matters. Skip these, and the engine responds brutally. For new riders who don't yet have maintenance habits, this can turn a good engine into a nightmare. That's not the engine's fault, but it's still a bad match for many seniors. Now let's step back and reflect. The worst ATV engines ever made are rarely the weakest. They're the ones that don't match their owners. Too complex, too stressed, too demanding. And seniors feel this mismatch the most because they value calm ownership over excitement. So here's the question I want you to think about. Would you rather own an engine that impresses your neighbor or one that never interrupts your plans? That's not rhetorical. Continue that discussion in the comments. People learn from each other here. Here's the final thought. Avoid engines that run hot by design, rely heavily on electronics, demand race-level maintenance, or push maximum power for minimal displacement. Those engines often end up as scrap piles, not because they're bad, but because they ask too much from owners who just wanted to ride. Choose calm, choose margin, choose engines that forgive. And if you've owned an ATV engine you'd never buy again, your story might save someone else thousands.